You know, all good things have to come to an end. 3 days off and it's back to work. So, American Airlines, here I come.
Hi there, welcome back. It's Michelle. So that couple-second clip you just saw was me leaving for work. And as I told you before, I do work for American Airlines. And that clip was done on Friday. This is now Monday, so 3 days later, and a lot has changed in the last 3 days, and I wanted to fill you in on some of the decisions that have been made here in our household since I went to work Friday morning. So I've been employed by American Airlines for 2 years now, a little over 2 years. I've been in the travel industry for a lot of years, but I started out in the hotel industry, then I moved on to be a travel agent for several years, and now I'm at the airline. And if you are up on the news of what is going on in the industry recently, I was actually a U.S. Airways employee, and there has been a merger between U.S. Airways and American Airlines, so we are now the world's largest airline. There's been some contract negotiations. Unfortunately, I work in a station that is very, very small. Like I said, I live here in Harrisburg, and I work at the Harrisburg International Airport. And even though we are a capital city, we are very, very small as far as the amount of employees we have and the amount of flights that we have in and out of our station for American Airlines in a day's time. So the chance of me advancing, going full-time, it's very, very slim. I've only been able to get part-time for the last 2 years. I have interviewed for a supervisor position, of which I have been approved for, and I could transfer anywhere I want to in the United States as a supervisor, and that approval is good for 3 years. However, my husband's the main breadwinner, so that makes it very, very difficult. Even moving up full-time as a supervisor, I still would not make enough money, sad to say, to support us until he would find a job. And it is unfortunate that a full-time employee at the world's largest airline cannot support themselves after being here for over 2 years. But anyway, like I said, my husband's the main breadwinner, so until he would have a job somewhere, I really don't know where I could end up going. And where I'm at, like I said, I don't have a lot of room for advancement. I'm never going to be able to get full-time there because we are too small. Even if people retire, they're not filling the positions with full-time. So I make just a teeny tiny little bit of money. So I'm not going to reveal my pay, but I've been doing a lot of soul searching, mainly over just the last few months, because my children have now left home. Both of my children are now living in Florida, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm in an industry that runs 7 days a week, and I work every weekend and every holiday. So I'm thinking, and my husband is kind of pushing the issue as well, why am I, at my age, subjecting myself to working every weekend and every holiday for the amount of money that I'm making? When I took this job, like I said in previous videos, we relocated ourselves for me to be close to work because I was only part-time. It didn't make sense for me to have a job which at the time would have been 25 to 30 miles away from work for part-time work. So we relocated ourselves to Harrisburg, and I'm 4.5 miles from work. Fine for part-time, you know, it's definitely close enough. However, now my husband drives 31 miles each way to work. So in crunching the numbers, till I pay for my parking fees at work, till I pay for uniforms, the extra gas money that it now costs my husband to run 62 miles round trip every day, this job's really not paying me anything. Yes, I do get my flight benefits and I can fly anywhere I want to. However, I don't get weekends off. So he works Monday through Friday, I work Friday through Monday, and we're just starting now after 2 years and no kids at home I'm lonely all week, he's lonely all weekend. It's not hurting our relationship, but it's making us realize what maybe our priorities should be. So I have not told anybody yet, and I have not put in my notice yet. However, we have decided that it's time for me to retire. And I'm not saying that as a good retirement and that I'm going out with, what is my dog doing? Sorry, my dog is making all kinds of funky noises, but he's just burrowing under a blanket over there. So I'm not able to retire with Social Security and pension and Medicare or whatever, obviously, because of my age. We've decided that I'm going to retire and make it a project to live with one income. My husband does make pretty good money for where we live. It's expensive to live where we are. South Central Pennsylvania is not cheap. In fact, right now we're famous because we are #1 in the nation for the highest gas taxes. Our gas taxes are now even higher than California's. So, yay, we can claim #1 status. I don't like living here, but for now, his job's paying the bills, and we aren't quite ready to leave the area yet for a multiple number of reasons. Both of us have parents that are still alive. I even have grandmothers that are still alive. So, and I'm an only child. I do have a stepsister, but as far as my mother and my father, I am the only child. So it makes it very difficult for me to pick up and go knowing that my parents are aging and we could pick up and go somewhere and I could be called back to the area. So again, we're going to make it a project to learn how to live on one income, which is where I'm going to need the help from viewers and fellow YouTubers. There are many, many channels out there on living inexpensively. You know, 3 that come to mind right off the top of my head is 5 for 5, which is the Sen family, Do It on a Dime, and Steve and Annette Economides, which have the Money Smart Family, I believe is the name of their channel, but they have books published as well, of which I have bought. And I know darn well, just from watching these people and reading these books, that we can definitely make it on one income. What the world has told us is that it takes 2 incomes to survive because you have to have this and be able to do this. And you know, I'm reaching the age, I guess, where I'm becoming rebellious. Maybe I should have been rebellious when I was 21, but I wasn't. But now I'm becoming rebellious, and I'm to the point where I'm tired of letting the media and the government and people around me tell me what I have to have and what I have to do. So that is my new goal, and I want to invite you to join me on this quest of saying, nope, we're done, no more 2 incomes, we're going back to the traditional way of living. And like I said, my husband is he's so on board with this. In fact, I was going to give my 2 weeks notice when I went into work this morning, which meant I would be able to have Christmas off. But then I had forgotten that my youngest child is using my flight benefits to fly up here for Christmas, and she's going to be up here through the 30th. And even though I would still be on payroll through the beginning of next year based on the way our pay is running right now, I wouldn't be an active employee when she would be trying to fly back home, and I didn't want to take a chance on her not being able to get back, or all of a sudden she shows up at the airport on December 30th to fly back to Florida and they say, oh, you owe us like $800 because your mom's no longer an employee. So unfortunately, I am going to stay employed through the end of the year. I shouldn't say unfortunately. I do love my job. I love what I do. Today was utter chaos because we had a flight oversold by 12 people due to a downgrade in aircraft. And if you work in this industry, you understand what I'm talking about. If you don't, all I can tell you is when you go to an airport and you're frustrated because you've been denied boarding or your flight's been delayed or canceled, please don't take it out on the agent at the counter or at the gate. We didn't do it, and we don't like dealing with you any more than you like dealing with us. But today was a very frustrating day, and I could have quit today, let me tell you. But I'm going to stick it out through the end of the year. So December 31st will be my last day of employment. Again, I haven't told work yet, but I will be doing that this Friday when I go in, because now I'm off for my 3 days, my weekend, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm going to throw myself into learning how to live on one income, how to budget, how to save. It's, you know, we've learned that the more you make, the more you spend. It's a saying that's been around for generations, and it is totally true. So me making less money or no money is going to force us to spend less money, and I'm looking at it as it's now my full-time job. So again, I invite you to come on board with me. Maybe you'll want to do this. If there's any advice or tips that you want to give me, please comment below. I'd welcome you to subscribe. I'd like to start this as a regular channel with constant updates to let you know how we are doing. And I'll introduce you a little more as time goes on, because I don't want to make hour-long videos. My God, you all get bored with me and leave me from day one. So I just want to keep my videos limited to several minutes each. And I'll still vlog along the way, just so you can see what all we're doing, and that we're not limiting ourselves to having no fun whatsoever, but need to find ways to have fun and have dates without spending $100 just to go out to dinner, which is the average. You know, it's nothing for my husband and I to go out to dinner, and till we pay our tip, we've spent $80 between the two of us. So that's what I'm going to try to get away from, and going to try to be a smart consumer for probably the first time in my life. So come on board, and hopefully we can all do this together. I'm so excited.